Hi guys, this is Jason Williams, DO. This is the Williams Family Medicine channel, helping you to live your best life. Today I wanted to visit with you about finances again. In a recent video, I talked about your health as your greatest financial resource. I believe that to be true, but I also wanted to make some other general statements about finances. It probably seems strange to have a doctor talk to you about finances, as it's not directly related to your health unless you really think about it. If you don't have good finances, you're probably not going to make wise choices with the type of food that you buy or in the type of activities that you do, especially health promoting activities. Indirectly, your health can be significantly affected by poor financial choices or decisions. I am not a financial planner or wealth advisor. I have no training in that area. I have learned from my own experience. I've learned from reading books and also learned from mistakes of others. I just want to share a few broad topics for my patients that can help them in the area of finances that may also help them to be healthier. This list will not be necessarily in order of importance, but just how I thought about this when I was preparing this. To begin with, it's important to have some type of training if possible. If you can have advanced training through school completion, through online training, through college, through a trade school, then your wage earning potential certainly will go up in general. And it's certainly possible to make a lot of money and to be able to support your family without doing these things. Sometimes if you have good connections, that's all you need. I would try to hedge your bets though, at least, and try to obtain some type of training that can be useful, a skill that can be useful, something that's marketable. The caveat to this is if you are not careful, you can generate tons of debt from this endeavor, and then that can really set you back. So you have to be very careful about getting into debt and making sure that you can manage and pay for this type of training. In any job, I would give them some tips about your work ethic. Always try to arrive early. If needed, stay late. And don't begrudge the fact. Don't get taken advantage of course, but be willing to serve, have a servant's heart, be willing to obey your boss. If things don't go well at work and if you've done something wrong, admit, own up to it, own up to the mistake, confess it if needed, and move on. Sometimes there are consequences such as job loss, but it's better to have a clear conscience, and your employer will most often respect you for that. With regards to handling money, this is a very sticky area. One thing I would say is don't waste money. Sometimes we find that we subscribe to multiple type of things and we don't even really pay attention to it after the fact. Sign up for things online or even have things mailed to us, such as magazine subscriptions or even streaming subscriptions, certain app subscriptions on your phone. Try to monitor this regularly and try to cancel these things if you don't use them, because they are draining your funds little by little. Also, try not to live beyond your means. This is very easy to fall into this trap. It's very easy to try to compare yourself to others and try to keep up with the neighbors and try to have the newest things, the brightest and the best. I would recommend that you not have that attitude. I would try to wait until things have been out for a while before you buy them. Don't try to be the first one to buy the newest technology, for example. It's common for that technology to become much cheaper, even in a very short time. And yet the product will be similar or even better. Try not to keep up with your neighbors. It's just a battle that you can't win. There's always going to be somebody that has more than you. Try to be happy with less. In a similar light, if there is something that you really need that's a non-essential, let's take, for example, a motocross bike, if you're really into this. Try not to use debt to buy things that are non-essentials. Try to save up and use cash. Similar line of thinking, if you use credit cards, which most of us do, pay off your credit card bill monthly. Do not let a balance keep going. Do not start paying high interest rates. You will never get ahead. In general, try not to take on too much debt. What I would expect for most people is their largest debt to be their home, a mortgage payment. I think that's reasonable. And once again, you still also need to consider you don't have to have the biggest home on the block. Realize that you are limited in your resources and you're going to really strap yourself if you're not careful. Periodically, it's important to have a budget that you review and revise. It's common for your job status to change, and if it does, you need to adjust. Review this every few months to make sure that you're still on track with your goals, whether they're saving or spending goals. Sometimes this can help you identify a certain service that you're not even using anymore, but you're still paying for. Earlier, like we mentioned about the subscription services. Tracking where your money goes will help you to see that That's what you value. When you look at this deeply, you may decide that there are things that you really don't need. No matter how much you make in a wage or how much you have saved, it's important to have a liquid type of emergency fund. You can't predict when you'll have an injury or an illness that can take you out of work, or you could have a job layoff that can take you out of work. It's great to have set aside enough money to get you by to pay expenses, at least for a few months. And a lot of financial experts recommend 6 to 12 months of liquid funds to help get you by. Avoid getting trapped by get-rich schemes. I have fallen into this trap myself. I remember one time in particular, I saw a commercial about real estate. I was intrigued by how successful the people on the commercial seemed, and it seemed so easy according to the advertisement. Don't be fooled. Of course, if you can get advice and you can afford to see a financial planner or wealth advisor, that's great to have added direction. No matter how old you are, this is going to seem weird if you're really young, but you should prepare for retirement. I would encourage you to look at your life and work backwards. Look at what you want to be doing at the end of your life and try to work backwards. I know this can change quite a lot along the way, but just as a planning exercise, look at the end and use that in order to generate a plan for your life. When you do this, you may be able to estimate expenses that you might have. In fact, you can even calculate possible spend downs during retirement. You can even include health care expenses, insurance, and even tax liability in this calculation. These things can give you a feel for what it really takes to retire at an age when you want to retire. Once again, these things may seem out of the purview of advice you might get from a doctor. I suppose they are. I'm not a financial planner. I just wanted to share these things with my patients. If you do not have financial health, it is very common that your physical health will fail as well. It's common to see people that do not have financial health to have more stress. Stress affects stress hormones. Stress affects sleep. It affects physical symptoms. And it's common to have many physical symptoms related to stress that can manifest as certain diseases. In my mind, financial health is directly related to your physical health as well. If you're my patient, I hope you find this information useful. If you're not my patient, you need to see your own doctor for your diagnosis and treatment. This is Jason Williams, DO. This is the Williams Family Medicine Channel, helping you to live your best life. Take care. Bye-bye.